Hello and welcome to EV Car Share. So it's a bit dark out here. I'm by Starbucks, I don't know if you can see that, at Wittering services on the A1 heading northbound. It's another day when I'm doing a long trip, this time from Peterborough, of course, where I live, but going to Bromborough. Now if I've pronounced Bromborough wrong, then let me know, all you Bromboroughese people. So it's just on the Wirral, just beyond Chester, dressed for work. Obviously going there for a job, and it's a long way. It's 169, I think it was 165 miles from where I live all the way to the place I'm going to. So I've stopped here to start the video. I've got 146 miles left, 95% battery, 258 predicted range. So I can get there no problem, but on the way back there will be a need to charge, so that will be today's trip. I will cut through my usual cut-through route from here across west, which will be via Melton Mowbray and out onto the A50 to Stoke. Then depending on traffic, I will either cut through Crewe, A51 to Chester and up that way, or I'll go up the M6 and around the longer way onto the M56, depending on what the sat nav says, depending on what I feel like, how rushed for time I am, etc. Probably stop for some breakfast on the way, need to get a coffee at some point, and yeah, then day in Bromborough, turn around, come back, charging on the way back. Ideally Ionity, because I've got the Power Pass, gives me lower prices, but that means going to Stafford, which means changing my route back, which is a valid route back. It's one the sat nav offered me as the fastest route, so I might take that, charge at Stafford, go down the M6, A14 and back up to Peterborough, or I could avoid doing that and stop at the Tesla charge points near Stoke. They're a bit more expensive for me, 59p rather than the 43p I get with the power membership on Ionity. And the alternative, of course, is GridServe. I've got those all over the place. I know where they are, they're all en route, but of course they're 79p, so they're going to be much more expensive than my 43p at the Ionity. So we'll see where I go on that one. But of course now I have somewhere to be, somewhere to go, so I'm going to get this one on the move. Okay, so just got on the way, just left the services, or the Starbucks, well it is services I suppose, it's small services, near Wittering on the A1 heading northbound. Traffic's quite light, a little bit of mistiness in the air, not much wind. Conditions, 10 degrees, I mean it's not perfect conditions, but nothing hideous or anything like that. It's okay. Right, so I've done my cut through Rutland via Melton Mowbray, and now just about to join the A50 heading towards Stoke. I think this is where I'm going to take my my stop and grab something for breakfast. So the first services along here, there is a Greggs, and I think Greggs for a coffee and one of their breakfast rolls, breakfast buns, breakfast baps, whatever you call them. I think that'll go down quite nicely. So if they can do me something with bacon and eggs and sausage and yeah, a bit of tomato sauce or something, I think I'll do the job, and that will fill me for the rest of the journey. I won't be charging there, I don't need to, and I have plans to charge on the way back instead. But I do sometimes wonder whether maybe some of these journeys would be better done just charging whenever I stop. So every stop I stop at, just do a little charge until I'm ready to go. so not waiting around for any charging at all. Yeah, problem is where you stop isn't necessarily where you want to charge because of price, and in this case that's the situation. GridServe at this particular services, they're not particularly fast, they're the slow 50 kilowatt ones from days gone by, effectively. Funny to talk about electric technology like that. Let him come across. Anyway, and they're 79 pence per kilowatt hour, which is just way too expensive, which is why I don't really do it. But in a situation where all of them were the same price and there was no advantage financially, yeah, I would probably plug in here while I go and get my coffee and my breakfast, while I have it probably, so I don't make a mess of the car, and then once I'm finished, unplug and carry on, irrelevant of what the state of charge was. Talk about state of charge, currently at 80%, so it's taken 20% of my battery to get across Rutland to this point, which is always useful to know as well for the way back. And I have an estimated charge on arrival of 43%, so that's good, just under half effectively. I've got 86 miles left to do of my journey. I have 211 miles predicted range from the 80% I have left, so that's the situation. And I think here is the turning for my services. Yep, there we go, on the sign, services. So I'm going to pull off here. According to my car, the charge point here is free. Not free as in price, free as in available. So there is availability of the charge points. It is a 50 kilowatt DC, and I believe there is an AC element to it as well that can be used at the same time, but it is just one charge point. I think it also supports the CHAdeMO connector if you have an old Japanese car that uses CHAdeMO. But here in the UK, cars these days are all CCS2, even Tesla, including all the Japanese cars as well, every single one. So unless you're buying second hand, you don't need to worry about that. Car park's very busy. Hopefully it's people at the hotel, not queuing at Greg's. Just had a glance through the window and it looks like Greg's has not got a big queue, so that is good. And let's pull in here. I'll go and get what I need. There we go. Okay, so I have got my breakfast, got my latte, got some hash browns. Well, hash brown, I think it is. Yeah, it's 8. Oh, there's 2 little hash browns. 2. That's sort of size. A bit soft. Could do with being a bit kind of crunchier maybe. And the star of the show, bacon and sausage in a roll. Brilliant. Okay, so as I mentioned on the way into the services, 80% battery, so that's still the same. Obviously I've just been parked, haven't been charging up. Don't know how long that took me, maybe 5 minutes. When do I get 5 minutes on one of those slowish charges? It's probably not really worth the time plugging in, to be honest, to answer my question from earlier. If it was Ionity or something like that, then yes, you can get a good 20% or something from Ionity, and that might be all you need to complete your journey. But when it's slow 50 kilowatt like just is there, then no, not as beneficial, let's say. And with the price of GridServe at 79, no, not going to be using those. So hopefully someone will let me in. There we go, no problem. And then I need to be in the other lane as well, so I better speed up a little bit to get ahead of that guy. I will slow down behind him. Speed up sounds good to me. And we're back on the journey. One thing I do like about the Kia sat nav actually, which is good, is when you leave the car, power off, lock the car, go and get something from services or whatever, come back, unlock the car, get in, power back on, it will just resume your route. So no need to have to put it back in again or tell it to start the journey again or anything like that. It just automatically resumes your route. It knows you want to carry on. This was just a break. So that's brilliant, exactly how I'd want it to respond to that situation. And we've got some heavy traffic, that's a pain. Don't know what this is about, it's not on my sat nav, so it must be quite recent, not been updated yet. We'll see. Hopefully it's not too bad, because it doesn't normally queue along here. There must be some sort of broken down vehicle or something, maybe an old diesel. Okay, so heading now on the A50, not far from Stoke, just outside of Stoke. And my sat nav is giving me two options. So I want to kind of show you these. So going to turn on my other little camera so I can point at the screen. So you can see there on the display, there are two options, economic and fastest. If you click more routes, you can also get prefer motorway and recommended, but they all follow the same as fastest in this occasion, so they're not really anything extra. So at the moment, economic is selected. You can see the route through there, the direct route. It shows me that it's going to be 11 miles less distance, but it's going to take 18 minutes longer, and I'll arrive with 45%. So one of the useful features really is that you can flick between these, and not only do you get the difference in time and distance like you would with Google Maps or something like that, but also you get the arrival percentage changing. So 45% if I take that route, and if I tap on fastest, then you can see it drops to 34%. Just make way for the ambulance. Let them through. So yeah, you can see that it drops to 34% if I go the fastest route. So now I have 11% difference in the battery on arrival to consider. So it's 11 miles longer, takes 11% more, but it saves me 18 minutes. And I have that decision now to make. So what do I do? It's a good question, and I'm driving along thinking, I don't know. If I was travelling for leisure, I would probably take the 18 minutes extra and go direct and save myself the mileage and the energy. But because I'm on a trip for work, I'm kind of tempted to go the other way, because that keeps me more on schedule, allows me to lose a bit of time due to some sort of hold up or accident on the route. Obviously once I've chosen my route and gone a particular way, then that's that. I can't then go back on that. Not very easily anyway, unless I cut across through some very small roads. So once I've made my decision, that's what I'm doing. that's the way it's going to be. And I think I'm going to go for the fastest route. So I'll just tap start guidance on fastest route, and the sat nav will take me that way. Right, so we're on the M6. Is this Knutsford Services we're just passing? Possibly. Yeah, Knutsford Services. So I've done 125 miles this morning so far. I have another 31 miles to go. The battery is at 55%, so still in the top half of the battery, if you want to put it that way. I have 141 miles left, according to the estimation of what that battery can do. So I will be arriving, according to SatNav, with 39% remaining when I get to my destination. So return journey with 39%, clearly going to have to charge, but with having used 61% to get there, from 39%, you're looking at 20%-ish. So maybe if we put 30% of the battery in at that point, so take it up to 70% total for my journey home. Obviously, I won't be charging at my destination, so it will deplete by, I don't know, 20% by the time I get to where I'm going to charge. So then I'll be charging for about 50%. So I'd imagine later on I'll do like a 20 to 50% charge somewhere around Stoke sort of region. As I mentioned, possibly Stafford, because then I can use the Ionity chargers that I have my reduced rate with at the moment. So that's the current state of play. I took the fastest route, as I'm sure you can already tell, so I'm not cutting through on the A51, A54 through to Chester from Crewe. I'm going up the M6 and I'll be going along the M56 towards North Wales, and then taking that sort of route to the north side of Chester. That is the plan. So almost there, coming into the area now, and my car is at 44% battery. My estimation of getting there is 42%, so it's gone up a bit. The faster route did not use as much fuel as SatNav suggested, but then equally I think I would have saved even more if I'd gone the economic route, of course. But a summary of the journey, so I've just ticked over to 156 miles completed. It's taken 3 hours and 27 minutes so far, and I've averaged a 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour efficiency. As I say, battery currently is 44%, and the car is recommending that that will last me for another 111 miles. So as I say, I will need to charge on the way home. But at the moment, all is good.